Welcome to Kev's Travel Stories. Each week I'll be bringing you a story from the weird and wonderful world of travel, a world that can change the way you see life and love and even the way we find meaning. Places that are iconic and sometimes surprising and even terrifying. So sit back and enjoy while we go on a magical mystery tour together. Welcome to Kevin's Travel Stories, and I have an exciting one today. Imagine the music playing at the beginning of the movie. Bum 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 bum. A figure with a piebald hat appears in silhouette. A gun is raised and bang! Blood fills the screen. Yes, we're talking about 007. I grew up with 007. I was a young child illicitly reading my Ian Fleming underneath the bedclothes, hoping my mother or father would not come in because at the age of 11 or 12, this was the first introduction to romance. Even the word that could not dare be named in those days as a young Jesuit Catholic grammar school child, sex. And of course 007 had it all. I'm thinking particularly of the novel On Her Majesty's Secret Service, where James Bond goes right deep into the mountains, and there he comes across a gentleman called Blofeld and his evil henchwoman, and these beautiful young girls who are slowly, we only find out at the end, being introduced to smallpox, which they're going to take back and ruin the great British Empire. So these are deep in my memory, and when I first skied, I remember thinking, I now have done loads of James Bond things because I'd done deep sea diving, I'd done scuba diving, and now I had done actual skiing. And what happens in On Her Majesty's Secret Service is James Bond takes off down the mountain pursued by henchmen firing Uzis and automatic weapons. He skis through off-piste, over boulders, through trees, and he slowly, one by one, fatally gets rid of those following him until he actually jumps in the path of an oncoming train, ploughing through the snow, and the last guy following him gets caught in a bloody mess. So imagine my wonder when, courtesy of the tourist boards in Via del Fassa, Trentino, and the wonderful Aileen Eglinton, my colleague who has done many podcasts on this channel, we get to ski in the Dolomites. We get to snowshoe in the Dolomites. This is all very James Bond. But the best bit came on the last night when the taxi dropped us off deep in the heart of the mountains, way above San Pellegrino, deep into the Dolomites. And for a moment I thought we were going to be left there standing on the side of the road. It was -5 degrees. The snow was falling. You could almost imagine you could hear the wolves howling in the distance. And then suddenly a light appeared. 2 red lights trundled down the road, and then came a snowcat. We were bundled in the back, and we set off on this amazing journey right up the mountain, on tracks where no car could go, where few people could walk. This massive machine, pure James Bond, trundled right, trundled left, rayed over what felt like chasms through the deep snow. We sat there in the back, being jumbled about, laughing nervously, wondering what would happen if the machine broke down and we were left there to fend for ourselves. Because all around us, just imagine this, all above us were stars. The sky was fairly empty apart from some snow clouds just to the east that were giving a little petal of snow. I thought I could hear wolves, because there are wolves and bears in this region. But you could smell the snow, wolves or no. And you could feel, when we finally arrived, you could feel the crunch of the snow, the icy snow underneath, and the deadness and the stillness of the Dolomites, the mighty Alps, where no sound basically exists other than the small patter of snow, the sound of your breathing coming in and out, the stars twinkling. You could almost feel them above you. And suddenly a door opened on this huge chalet, and a man came out and opened his arms wide and said, "Come." And in we went to the Rifugio Fuciade. Now, the refuges in the Dolomites are something quite unique to Italy. They started and were founded during the Roman times when they were building roads over the mountains, and they needed, obviously, a place where they could have succor. They could stop and have some water, wine, and something to eat and escape the inclement weather, which can be 20, 30 degrees below when you're high up in the mountains. Most refuges nowadays are for hardy travelers and hikers who are going up the mountains. They only want a bed for the night. That will do them. This, though, was something different, because the Rifugio Fuciade is a paradise for the gourmet. You have Michelin-starred food. They have 600 different sorts of wine, from the great Bordeaux houses and Champagne regions to the very, very best of the great Italian wine vineyards and the great names, from the Super Tuscans all the way through to names that conjure magic if you're interested in Italian wine. And then we were taken into this Michelin magisterial palace. We were given a view downstairs through deep tunnels and caverns where Parma ham was stored, and huge slabs of meat hung and filled the air with that extraordinary pungent smell, where great slabs of cheese were laid out. Oh my goodness me, we were already getting excited, and it takes not a lot to excite journalists, particularly an Irish gathering of journalists, and we knew we were in for a treat. So we were led upstairs to our private area, and there our wonderful, wonderful waiter came. He had amuse-bouches, he had beautiful wines, and so started another extraordinary journey, which again would fit into the James Bond narrative, because James was a lover of the Chateau Lafitte's, the great, great houses. He knew his champagnes, he knew his liqueurs, and he'd have loved this in this high alpine retreat, this Dolomite refuge, Fuciade. So let me give you a taste of what we had. Well, it started off with a tartare that some people can't, because that's raw meat. I really loved it, with a little amuse-bouche. It wasn't too much. If you can't stomach pure beef, well, then you got an extra serving, because a couple of our colleagues couldn't eat it, so we gobbled it all up. And then that was only the beginning of the most extraordinary gallery of tastes and smells, from goat's cheese to mint and strawberry medleys topped with sweet potato crisps, diced freshwater lake fish marinated in all sorts of wonderful olive oils. You had things that were saffron infused. There were just subtle flavors and juicy flavors, and then all washed down with, from crisp Chardonnay to bubbles to deep reds. It was the best of the Trento DOC for the wines, and for the mixing and the matching with these extraordinary tartare sushi. And of course, I think the most outstanding was this potato spaghetti. I've never known anything like it. It was wonderful and quite al dente. And then we had this stuffed smoked ricotta, roasted tomatoes, strips of caramelized balsamic. But the whole theme was this hearty mountain food with slices of speck and local bacon chives. A delicious sensation all around, and a fantastic grappa to end with a lovely dessert. Oh my goodness me. It was absolutely fantastic. What's more, you can actually stay at the Rifugio Fuciade. You can stay there and have a sumptuous breakfast and open up the windows and look out onto the Dolomites, which are really an extraordinary and beautiful range of limestone, golden-coloured rock that seeps between the cloud layers and then the blue sky. And as we left, going back into that crisp cold, -10 degrees, I was looking around for Blofeld. I was looking around for James Bond with his gun, and the cat on the lap of the baddie. And I just had a shiver up my spine. I'd skied, I'd snowshoed, and now I'd ate right up in this almost mystical place. And what a wonderful experience it was. So go to the Dolomites, find your way to San Pellegrino, get the taxi to take you up, cross your fingers that the snowcat will appear out of nowhere as you stand there in the snow wondering how long you'll survive the cold, and get treated to some of the rare delights that the Rifugio Fuciade can provide any adventurous traveller.